guys, if I'm back again with another video, and this time we'll be doing something a little different. If you remember, sometime back we had done a video on Vlookup and HLookup. Now one drawback of using Vlookup and HLookup is that you can when you're looking up in a list a particular value, the first match that it finds stops, the Vlookup HLookup stops there and ignores any subsequent matches. So if you want to capture all the matches in a list, Vlookup HLookup would not work. So that's where we where this tutorial comes in. Now this sheet here is the same one that we have used a few times before also. This is the sales record of a company in the New York area that supplies products to pizza parlors and fast food restaurants. Sales are handled by the company by designated sales persons who have designated areas and designated dealers with which they work with whom they work with. And this list also gives you the revenue that was generated by each salesperson. Now this table here, over here it shows you the salesperson, which you can change from the drop down list, and this gives you the total number of sales for the selected salesperson. So John had 12 sales, so 12 down here. These are the dealers that John had worked with. So Acme Pizza, Taste Street Brothers, the Warehouse Company, Pizza Drink, Ken Smith, and so on and so forth. And the total revenue, according to this table here, that John was able to generate was 7.6 million. So let's see if that is correct. 7.6 million is what John's revenue was. Now if we were to change John to, say, for example, Bill, this list updates and so does the total revenue. Now Bill had generated a total of 5.7 million. Okay, so you see how this list changes when we change the lookup. Now Vlookup and HLookup would not be able to do that, because like I said, their shortcoming is they stop at the first match and don't go and ignore any subsequent matches. So let's get started and see how we are going to do this. What I've done is I've copied this sheet into another sheet here, and we'll build the formula step by step. Okay, so let's get started. So the first step is you'll get the row numbers for all the salespersons. Don't worry about this dollar sign, because I've got these cells formatted as currency. Okay, now if you were to highlight this and hit F9, this shows you as an array with what are the row numbers. Now mind you, these are the Excel row numbers right now. So even though this is serial number 1, but it's Excel row number 2, so that's why it starts from 2 and goes up to 42, which is the serial number for this entry is 41, but it's Excel row number 42, and that's why you see that over there. So Control Z to come out of this. Now what we want to do is have, instead of this being row number 2 and row number 3, we want this to be row number 1. So one way to do that, it would be to subtract 1 from it, but that would not be a good way to do this, because this table could be anywhere in the sheet. It could be down here, and then you would not be subtracting 1, you would be subtracting 18. So the best way to do that is to make it universal, is to subtract the row number for the heading. Oh, sorry. And that way, no matter what part of the worksheet this table is, it will still work. Okay. Now let me show you what happens when I copy and paste this, drag this formula down and copy and paste it down here. See how over here this was 42 through J2 through J42, and over here it became J3 through J43. So basically the row numbers have crept up by 1. Similarly, this was J1 and this has become J2, so that has also gone up. So What you always want to do is when you want to make sure that these row numbers or the cell numbers or the column numbers don't change, you put a $sign. Use a $sign. Now if you want to lock the row numbers, you put a $sign in front of the numbers, or if you want to lock the columns, you put $sign in front of the letters or alphabets, and if you want to lock both the rows and the columns, you put $signs both in front of the letters and the numbers. Now the quick way to do that is just to highlight and hit F4 and have Excel do the numbering, the $sign for you. Okay. Oops, sorry. There you go. Okay. Now, if you see, now let's highlight this and do F9. Now you see it says 1 through 41. So seal number 1 through 41. Okay. Control Z or Z. Brings you back. Okay, good enough. Now what we need to do is we are going to let me point one more thing. Let me do F9 again. This is going through all the way up to from 1 all the way up to 41, but John is only row number 1 through row number 12. So what we need to do is we need to somehow differentiate the rows that pertain to John from the rest of the rows. And the way you do that is you're going to be banking on a feature of Excel that if you divide something by 0, you get an error. Okay, you get a division by 0 error, and we are banking on that feature to differentiate rows that pertain to John from the other rows. Okay, how do you do that? Like I said, you divide. What we'll do is we'll compare each entry here to this one here, row by row, and if it's true, it's for every row. If it's true, if they match, it's going to true or logical 1, and if it doesn't match, it's going to be a false or a logical 0. And whenever these strings don't match, it gives you, since it gives you a logical 0, and you're dividing that by dividing this expression by that 0 that had just come because of the logical 0, because of the difference between this entry and this entry, it will give you a divide by 0 error, and thereby you will eliminate the row numbers that do not pertain to the selected salesperson. So let me show you how it's done actually. Oops, that was just my email popping up. So is equal to, okay, so basically what it says is all the rows one by one, you match it to this. If it's true, give it a 1. If it's false, give it a 0, and when you divide, this whole expression gets reevaluated. And we will lock this also. Okay, now let's see F9. Now you see 1 through 12 you have there, but anything after that is divided by 0 error, and that's exactly what we were banking on. Now by forcing that error for all the rows which do not match, whose salesperson does not match with this entry here, we were able to change all those numbers to divide by 0, and the ones that matched stayed the way they did not change. Now what we're going to do is we are going to filter out the divide by zeros, okay, by using the command, the aggregate command, or function. Function I should say. The option that we're going to be using is small. I'll explain in a bit why we're using small. And the second option that we have to use is ignore error values. This is what will get rid of the errors. That's your array and the number. Now small, what that does is, if you remember in the previous video, the minimum maximum would give you the minimum would give you the smallest number, but if the smallest number was 0 and you did not want the 0 showing up as the smallest number, you used a function called small, and you give a parameter the smallest, the second smallest, the third smallest. So this is essentially what we are doing is with the 6 we have gotten rid of the errors, and with the small, with the 15, the small, we're picking up the numbers. And here what we'll do is we'll take the row numbers, the rows, and this cell here is O7. Okay, oops, sorry. Alright, and what we want to do is, in this, for the first entry, it's going to be O7 through 07. For the second entry, we want 07 and 08, 07, 09, 07, 010. So the second one would creep forward. So we'll lock the first one, and we do not lock the second one. Okay, and we go spin and enter. All right. So we've got now. If let's see if we can see the do an F9. For the first entry, it only shows you 1. Because the small takes care of the other ones, and the option 6 also took care of the errors. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is, now since we've got the number 1, we are going to use the index function to pick up the dealers. Index dash array. No, I'm sorry. Array would be this list of dealers. The row numbers are these, and then you have column number 0, basically the same column, and you close bracket. Okay, so you see now what we're going to do is this L to L42, we need to lock those also. And if you were to drag it down, this gives you the list of dealers that John works with. Okay, don't worry about these numbers errors, they will disappear also. We'll take care of those also. So let's get rid of this for now. Okay, now what we want to do is, if this was the only entry on the next next row, what we need to do, we want to do was put the total revenue. So we use the if and the SUMIF formula to do that for us. So what we'll do is if rows 07 colon 07 is less than or equal to, and once again I'm going to lock the first one, is less than or equal to number of sales, then run this whole formula, and I'm going to lock this also. This is going to be locked column and row. This one, this first one, so it counts 7, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so forth. So if this is, if this is less than or equal to 12, then we'll go through this and come up with the name of the dealership. If this is not true, then we have to do another if rows 07 is equal to this plus 1. So basically what this is saying is, if we have gone past the last one, okay, because the most says is 12, so you have 12 entries for dealers. So if this is the 13th, then you basically want to do the give the sum of the revenue. Okay, the way we do that is SUMIFs The sum range is the revenue. Okay, the criteria range is the salesperson, and the criteria is salesperson here, and you close the parentheses. Okay, now over here too, I have to remind myself that I need to lock these guys. I'm gonna lock this also. And did I forget any? No. Okay, now if I were to drag this formula down to all the rest of the rows, it's done. Okay, now check this out. Here you get false. We need to take care of that also. Okay, now the way we take care of that is the last you put if this doesn't work, if this is not true, then just put a blank line. Oops, sorry. Just put blanks. Okay, and you drag it down, and there you have it. Now if you were to change John to Bill, the list updates and the full updates. Let's go with somebody else. Let's go with Julie. Okay, where's Julie? Julie's right here. Okay, so she had 9 sales. Okay, and the total revenue that Julie had brought in was 4.159 million. All right, so that's a quick way of looking up or picking out when you have more than one match in a list and you want to do something other than just pick the names out. You also want to do some additions of sum ifs, whatever. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you like to see more videos like this, please subscribe. Thank you.